20 seconds, guys. 20.
This weekend. I should be wearing a scarf right now.
Today on Channel 8 News, what can you do to stay safe in your own community?
Entrance to the ACT College entrance exam could affect high school graduates preparing for higher education.
And Manhattan residents are pushing for more control of how their tax dollars are spent.
I should be wearing a scarf right now, but fortunately I won't have to worry about that this weekend. I'll have more for you on weather later in the show.
This is KKSU LD, broadcasting in high definition from Kansas State University, covering Manhattan, Riley County, and the Flint Hills. You're watching Channel 8 News.
Good morning and welcome to Channel 8 News. I'm Alec Madrigal.
And I'm Anna Wu.
The weather is cooling down, and that means dozens of Manhattan's homeless are looking for a warm place to sleep.
And with the seasons changing, sportsmen are looking for some hunting grounds. You might find yours at an unexpected location. More on that coming up in sports.
In our top story, a victim of a campus assault is in the hospital today. The unarmed victim was transported to a local hospital around 3 a.m. on Sunday morning. K-State police arrested Jason Seifert of Fort Riley on charges of rape, aggravated battery, and aggravated kidnapping after he returned to the scene of the assault. Officers were still investigating at the scene when Seifert was identified. Police were dispatched to the Denison corridor on the west side of campus, responding to an ongoing situation. Upon arrival, authorities transported the victim to a local hospital. The suspect is currently detained in the Riley County Jail on a $100,000 bond. Neither the victim nor the suspect are affiliated at K-State. While neither individual involved in this incident this past weekend are K-State students, many students often feel concerned for their safety when walking on campus after dark. Channel 8 reporter Daisy Hagedorn is live in studio with RCPD Captain Josh Kyle, who has safety tips for when you might feel unsafe. Daisy?
Thank you, Alec. I'm here with Captain Josh Kyle from the Riley County Police Department. Captain Kyle, walking at night can intimidate a lot of people. What kind of tips can you give to ensure their safety?
Well, I don't think you can ever completely ensure somebody's safety, but there's some things that you can do to help prepare yourself in advance. And in fact, that's usually one of the best things you can do is think about where you're heading and what your route's going to be. There's a number of apps available online that you can use to let your family, especially, and your friends know where you're at any given time by the use of your phone. I think that's a good technique that you can use. If you're someplace that you feel a little bit nervous about, getting your keys out. And I'm a big fan personally of pepper spray. I found it to be very effective. Pepper spray is something though that you got to keep on top of. It does expire and there's a lot of different kinds out there, but that is an option as well.
Once somebody gets to their car, they're not 100% safe. What kind of tips can you give when they get to their car?
If you have the ability, unlock your car before you actually get there. Get inside and then close the doors and lock them. Get to the vehicle started as soon as possible and then be prepared to look around and see where you're going to go. In fact, again, pre-planning will help out a lot. And so looking where you want your car to go will give you a place to direct as soon as you get the vehicle operational.
And then what should a potential victim do if they are being chased or grabbed?
Very tricky question because it's very contextual. It depends. If you're interested in self-defense, that can be great, but it's something that requires a lot of training and practice. In fact, people train their whole lives or for several years. So you may want to do, it's something that you're going to want to train on and work with somebody for a significant amount of time. If you're being chased, the biggest thing that I think you should do is ask yourself, where am I headed to? What direction are we going, and am I headed to a place that's more dangerous or less dangerous? Obviously, if you're heading out to a public area, a street where it's well lit, that's to your advantage.
Thank you, Captain Kyle. If you want to stay safe on campus, you can download the Live Safe app on iOS or Android. You can also check out the K-State website for more safety tips. Back to you, Anna.
Thanks, Daisy. As the winter months approach and temperature drop at night, homeless populations in Manhattan are looking for a warm place to stay to warm off the chill. Channel 8 reporter Bill Bernard traveled to the Manhattan Emergency Shelter Incorporated to see what they have to offer to keep people out of the cold.
Many Manhattan residents down on their luck might know about the local nonprofit food bank, the Flint Hills Bread Basket. But what they might be unaware of is there's also an emergency shelter available to homeless individuals as the temperature drops at night.
The emergency shelter most times has openings, not all the time, but most have openings. So if they're truly homeless, then there's, that is a wonderful resource.
It's getting colder out there day by day. And the question on everybody's mind, especially my own, is what will the homeless be doing? Well, here on the corner of 4th and Yuma Street at the Manhattan Emergency Shelter Incorporated, they can accommodate those individuals and provide themselves a home to get themselves back on their feet again.
What that means is we allow people to stay a little bit longer. Our goal is to get people into permanent housing. So we're not just you check in overnight to leave the next day, kind of a drop-in shelter. We're more on the program. We expect people to work through the program so that we're hopefully ending the cycle of homelessness and they don't need our services again.
From Manhattan, this is Bill Bernard of Channel 8 News.
To contact the Manhattan Emergency Shelter Incorporated, give them a call or go to 4th and Yuma Street. We head now to MHK All-Day reporter Monica Dice.
A grassroots movement pushing for more participation in allocating city money is rising out of the Northview neighborhood. Channel 8 reporter Rachel Hogan has more.
As the sun sets over Manhattan, darkness falls over Hayes Drive, making it difficult for drivers to see pedestrians walking between Northview and the shopping district off Bluemont Avenue.
I don't know whether you've ever driven on that at night, watching people doing baby strollers and things and trying to keep out of the way of the traffic, and it's really dangerous.
Concerned Northview residents say participatory budgeting could allow for this community issue and others to be resolved.
Participatory budgeting is a process where people are involved and engaged as citizens in the process of figuring out what projects and how they would fit into a budget, and then voting, having a voting process that is outside of a commission.
Proponents of participatory budgeting says it allows for more transparency in government, as residents have more of a say in where their money goes.
This process of participatory budgeting empowers the regular, normal, not necessarily completely in tune with what's going on person, and gives them a way to get engaged with their government.
One city commissioner says Manhattan already has elements of participatory budgeting with nearly 24 committees and advisory boards and open work sessions on the city budget.
For all 5 meetings, there was hardly no one in attendance. And that's one of the things that bothered me too. People are out here, we want to participate in the budget. And my comment is, where were you? We have a whole lot of elements of participatory budgeting. And that's one of the things I find interesting too, when people want to change a process. First thing you have to do is understand the current process. Can't do change if you don't know what we're currently doing.
But if participatory budgeting ever comes to Manhattan, it won't be for a while.
It's something that's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen this first year. I'm hoping that there'll be some experimentation, let neighborhoods at least try it out and see how it works.
Northview Rising is still hopeful. In Manhattan, I'm Rachel Hogan for Channel 8 News.
6, stand by.
To make sure your voice is heard in Manhattan's local government, vote in the local elections on November 5th. Now, back to Alec and Anna.
Coming up, the ACT will now allow students to retake individual parts of their standardized test. What does this mean for colleges across the nation?
And later in the show, K-State is providing high school girls the opportunity to learn about careers in STEAM. Stay tuned.
We are a family that does not tolerate discrimination of any kind.
A family that represents a diverse and eclectic population.
We are a family that believes
that diversity, inclusion,
and sportsmanship
are expectations.
We are a family that is supportive and seeks to promote a positive and welcoming environment.
A family that treats people with respect and dignity.
An empowered family.
Who empowers family.
We are
family, diverse and together.
this was my first time taking an online course, and well, it went really, really well. It really did not feel like an online course for me. It felt like we were in a classroom talking and discussing and collaborating with each other. It's a renowned university, and I really take pride in calling myself a Wildcat, and I'm really proud that I'm a K-State alumni now. So I think it adds up a lot of value that I'm from K-State.
Welcome to K-State. We're so excited all of you came to visit us here on campus. We're going to be starting our tour here in front of Anderson Hall, which is our administrative building and kind of our iconic building on campus. It houses our president's office and our vice president for student life. All right, let's get started. We're going to be going to the Union next. It houses our pool.
More than 100,000 victims in the United States are currently dealing with domestic violence problems. For many people, this is a difficult issue. Often victims are ashamed to talk about it. To help more people understand and pay more attention to domestic violence, the Wildcats Against Sexual Violence event was organized on campus last Thursday. The group members set up a variety of games allowing students to learn more about domestic violence. Caitlin David encourages victims to talk to others about their experiences.
No matter what, you're not alone. You're not the only person who has experienced this. It's just important to start the conversation.
There are changes coming to the college readiness ACT test that might make high school students' lives just a little bit easier. Instead of being required to take the entire test again each time, students will have to to retake individual sections. Channel 8 reporter Alan Garrett has more on the impact this may have on students.
It's changing here at Kansas State. We got a chance to speak to some faculty members to get their views on the change. Molly McCaffrey, Director of Admissions, gave us an interesting take on her thoughts on the new ACT.
But all the Regents institutions are doing the same thing, whether that's to use the new SuperScored composite or not. So we haven't gotten an official answer yet back from the Regents, but they do plan to discuss it next month. So the answer may be coming soon. But for now, we don't know for sure how it's going to impact admissions at K-State because we don't know if we're going to be encouraged to use it or not.
The criteria for admission is rising, and many faculty members feel that it may hurt inclusion and attendance here at Kansas State. Others are waiting to hear back from the Board of Regents to state their opinion and views on if it will help or hurt Kansas State in person.
Areas where they may not have access to supports to study in and resources to be able to help increase their ability to take standardized tests. That doesn't mean that they're not knowledgeable. Supports to study in and resources to be able to help increase their ability to take standardized tests. That doesn't mean that they're not knowledgeable. It doesn't mean that they're not academically prepared. It's just some people don't do well on standardized exams. And so
these changes are expected to be seen on the campus of K-State in fall of 2020. From Channel 8 News in Manhattan, I'm Alan Garrett.
I sure wish I had that when I took the ACT.
Now a little closer to home, educators from across the state of Kansas were at K-State last week for Digital Literacy Day as part of the annual Science Communication Week. Channel 8 reporter Jingting Lan has more information about the practical impacts days like these can have in the classroom.
Presentations are offered by faculty, staff, and students from many disciplines to help students and faculty become better digital trained.
A lot of people on campus who are interested as scientists in communicating about their research, but they don't have the background in communication to do that. And we have a lot of communicators who need content to communicate about.
Everyone had the chance to ask questions, encouraging people from all backgrounds to discuss technical tools and research.
I think the biggest thing this will do is open the eyes of many faculty members to some of the options that are out there so that they can offer those options to our students. Students are communicating much more visually today, and so we want them to be able to connect with their faculty members.
This week is Communication Science Week at K-State, where students are encouraged to participate in digital literacy stage, where Adobe will help students gain more knowledge about their products as well as other skills that will help you in workforce.
I think this event's kind of different because usually the teachers, they only have like their experience on what products they've used, and so it's kind of interesting to see other people and other experiences that they've had.
In Manhattan, Jing Lan, Channel 8 News.
Today will be held on another college campus in Kansas.
Stay tuned after the break for a weather update. Find out how the weather could impact your weekend plans and see if there's snow on the horizon.
And we will take a quick look at the SK held by the Alumni Association to kick off the K-State Homecoming Week. That and more coming up on Channel 8 News.
Left side three ball, yes! Throws it down! Wow! Oh my goodness, Steve! Way up above the rim and a block! Derek Brown taking on Gildas Alexander, and he scores! Are you kidding? Kansas State is headed to the Elite Eight! Now throws it up the glass, and it goes in! And one for Peyton Williams! To the left, it's wide open for Reiki. Yes! Three-pointer! Rob gets the ball back, left baseline, 8-footer. Good! Frankie's answer three-pointer. It's good!
Your identity is who you are.
Feels pretty good. Hurts a little bit when I'm putting pressure on it, but not too bad.
What's your pain level at?
Probably like a 3.
Okay, cool. So much better than yesterday.
Yeah, a lot better.
All right. Well, I'm going to start to slow it down now.
Okay.
Welcome back to Channel 8 News. Changes to K-State service weather policy will allow new ways for communicating bad weather conditions. Weather anchor Dawson Wagner has more on how this will affect students in the upcoming winter season.
The issue surrounding dangerous weather conditions every year for Kansas State's campus continues to persist, and students who are affected by the cold season are speaking up about the changing inclement weather policy.
Changing the inclement weather policy would actually be beneficial because the beginning of spring semester last year, I broke my leg on the first day of class, slipping on the ice, so that would be beneficial to me.
Not only are some students saying more on the subject of the inclement weather policy, but they want to know who makes the decision on campus closing. Cindy Bontrager fills us in on what the policy's biggest difference will be.
Communications and marketing will also contact the regional TV stations, the radio stations. They get word out through social media and all the different aspects to try to do a good job in getting that communication out to our campus community. And again, just as quickly as we can. That's probably going to be maybe the difference that we're going to see this next year.
Kansas State's initiative to change the way that students are informed about the inclement weather policy is essential to this coming winter season. And when the days are getting colder, and colder, students need to make sure that they bundle up as they make their way across campus.
From Manhattan, I'm Dawson Wagner for Channel 8 News.
7, 6, stand by.
Fortunately, we won't have to worry about that weather inclement process too much yet. But moving to our national weather forecast for the week, we'll be seeing a cold front moving in through the middle of the country through this weekend, bringing snow to Montana and Colorado, which will affect us here in Kansas early next week. We'll be clear this weekend for the K-State and OU football game. So moving to the Kansas forecast for the week, we'll be seeing that cold front moving in from the west side, as well as low 50s and high 40s for the state of Kansas. Moving on to our 24-hour agenda for the week, we'll be having a partly cloudy forecast of about 40 beginning at the beginning of the day, moving on to about 51 degrees for the high at 4 p.m., and then finally wrapping up at the end of the day for 48 degrees and about a 55% chance of humidity as well. Now, moving into our 5-day forecast, we'll be seeing a high of 56 for today and a sunny weekend for football and tailgating. And luckily, we'll be seeing that kind of diminish by the end of Sunday until we have a cold front coming in with a chance of snow by the beginning of next week. That's all we have for weather for today, though. Back to you, Anna and Alec, at the desk.
Thanks, Dawson. At K-State, Shadow Days are held by the K-State Office for the Advancement of Women in Science and Engineering. The days called Excite Days allow girls in high schools to shadow women in college that are in a field they are interested in. Together, they tour campus, go to classes, and have the opportunity to talk to professors. The Excite Shadow Days show high school students what a day in the life of being a college student is like. Program coordinator Morgan Green has more information on what the program is doing to get more women involved.
The mission of CAUSE is to enrich the lives
We're on
of
the
girls
SOT
and
now
women
coming out on
in STEM
C3,
disciplines, and we
C6,
do that by
two-shot
creating a
both of you.
supportive network. So because women are underrepresented,
Coming out on camera.
we're trying to encourage the greater participation and the greater advancement and retainment of women.
After the break, we will look at sports with Bailey Matthews. Stay tuned to find out more about K-State's ongoing diversity efforts. All that coming up. Did I take your line?
The best-kept secret in Manhattan is not a secret anymore. I'm Wyatt Thompson, the voice of the Wildcats, and welcome to JP Sports Grill. With daily chef-inspired specials, a full bar, and a diverse menu that has something for everyone, this place is guaranteed to impress. JP Sports Grill, your new favorite spot.
We are a family that does not tolerate discrimination of any kind.
A family that represents a diverse and eclectic population.
We are
a family that believes
that diversity, inclusion,
and sportsmanship
are expectations.
We are a family that is supportive and seeks to promote a positive and welcoming environment.
A family that treats people with respect and dignity.
An empowered family.
Who empowers family.
We are family, diverse and together.
Oh, it's been like the best adventure of my life. Best, hands down. Don't tell my children I said that, but absolutely the best thing ever. I've had so much fun. I've learned so much, and I think the thing that I love most about this program, the expectations are just like that of a regular full-time program. There's discussions, there's discussion board posts, there's interaction with the instructors, just like you would have if you were on campus. I love it.
We head now to sports anchor Bailey Matthews, who has an update on how some locals are finding seasonal recreation in an unusual location. Bailey?
Elk season is in full swing behind the gates of Fort Riley. On October 1st, hunting season with a permit officially began. The current season runs right up until the start of the new year, when the season extends for the beginning. Fort Riley sits right in the Flint Hills, which includes bodies of water and plenty of trees. Even though the hunting is on an Army base, it's still just like anywhere else, according to Chief of Environmental Division, Herb Abel.
Variable. Well, it's variable. The success rate is tied directly to how much effort the hunters put into hunting on Fort Riley. Some people have the misconception that we're a fenced-in area where the elk can't escape and they can't hide, but that's not true at all.
The Manhattan High School girls tennis team recently competed in the state competition. The team consists of all grades 9th through 12th working together to achieve a common goal. The girls tennis team ended up finishing 4th overall at the state competition, and they all have high hopes for next year's team. Over $13,000 was raised by the K-State Alumni Association last Sunday for the Boys and Girls Club of Manhattan. Reporter Glenn Kinley has the story.
The K-State Alumni Association hosted a 5K Sunday, kicking off the start of the 2019 Homecoming Week, which will raise money for the Boys and Girls Club of Manhattan. Alyssa Baquero Garcia graduated from K-State last spring and now works full-time at the Boys and Girls Club.
It's such like a central part of this community because we serve over 3,000 kids, and that's like so many kids like in the Manhattan area. So it's kind of cool to see like the college kids all kind of there and supporting the younger kids and giving back to them.
Assistant Director of Student Programs Colin Just says over 800 people had signed up prior to race day and more the day of. Participating in the race cost $17 and included a 5K t-shirt.
I think, when people think of the really staple events that happen with homecoming, I think 5K is definitely one of them.
K-State senior Jared Demmel walked in the 5K and says for him, getting involved in homecoming has been a great experience.
This is a great way to come out and support the Boys and Girls Club and kick off homecoming week.
So it's kind of cool to get the community involved so they can kind of mentor these kids and show these kids like, hey, we're here to support you because we want you guys to grow and be able to choose what you want to do in your life. Like show you that there's so many options that you can pretty much become whatever you want to be.
The race consisted of a combination of many runners and walkers. Some even dressed in costumes and brought their pets along with them. From Manhattan, I'm Glenn Kinley, Channel 8 News.
K-State will hold its third KSU Unite March on November 6th. Stay tuned to take a closer look at what this event means for K-State's campus.
She's done. I know financial aid can be a little harder when you're a non-traditional student, but the financial aid office was great about answering questions, putting you in the right direction. It was just a great office.
TV and live on Facebook.
They give you all the tools that you need to succeed, from the video modules, well-descriptive electronic communication. They really set the expectations clear, and there's really no surprises, and I would definitely recommend it.
The best-kept secret in Manhattan is not a secret anymore. I'm Wyatt Thompson, the voice of the Wildcats, and welcome to JP Sports Grill. With daily chef-inspired specials, a full bar, and a diverse menu that has something for everyone, this place is guaranteed to impress. JP Sports Grill, your new favorite spot.
If you'd like to, a common face in the Kansas State University campus is the K-State family. Whether it's in reference to the football team or general student life, family is an important concept on campus.
All right, that's all we got for today. Thank you for tuning in to Channel 8 News.
This is Channel 8 News.